Hi, Cancer. I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the first week of August. So I'm not going to be focusing specifically on love this particular reading because a few days ago I did a deep love read for singles, couples, and complicated. If you want to check that out, that's for the month of August. And I just did it a couple of days ago. So I'm not going to really address that, but this may still resonate with you as a relationship. It depends on like what the main energy is going on for you. But besides that, we're going to be addressing, connecting it to work, career, money, general influence, energy. Let's get right into things. We're just going to throw some cards down and then clarify as we go along. So yeah, I mean, lots of passion, lots of passion, but lots of being critical this week, right? We have Mars and Venus both in Virgo in your third house. So for those of you who are single, you might be having some very intense conversations, maybe with somebody online, just in general, intense conversations. But some of you may be, I feel like some of you may be meeting online because it's sextiling Scorpio, which is opposing Uranus in the 11th house, which is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is hanging out in your 11th house. It's all about like a lot of you are going to be doing a lot of communicating via technology, where there's going to be there are things that are going to be addressed that can be very passionate. So this could also be having to do with like looking for a job, getting a job, negotiating online, anything like that, communicating with people online, something like that. But the thing is with Mars and Venus, you know, they're so interesting that we don't talk about it quite enough. Especially in Virgo, right? Virgo is a very problem-solving energy, right? Virgo rules is the landlord of the 6th house, ruled by Mercury. So it's a very critical energy, critical of self and critical of situations that we're involved in. We're also very critical of what we give to others as well, especially with Venus. It's not even going to be a question where there's this energy where it's like, am I giving too much? Am I getting enough? You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. Are my needs being met as well? And if they're not, what am I going to do about it? So we're going to talk about, I'm going to weave it in, how we need to think about Venus, not only in her beautiful, enlightened way, which is always looking to attain peace, balance, well-being, and satisfaction, right? She's all about love, feeling good. She is a money energy as well. All of that's great, but we always have to understand that depending on what else is aspecting your chart, there are other less pleasant Venusian qualities that can rear their head during energies like this. So we want to be mindful of those. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to work it in. And I feel like a lot of you are going to resonate with the need to understand the shadow manifestation, because we do have this justice energy and it's being clarified by the Knight of Coins. So some of you may be feeling very sort of trying to balance out something that may not feel 100% right to you in relationship, friendship, where you feel like something's missing, or you're trying to figure out what's fair in order, if it has to do with like money, like if it's an influence having to do with career, where you're trying to balance out a situation so that you can end up having increased prosperity, so that you can end up growing more financially, having to do with whatever it is, that investment, that business venture, taking on that business partner. So you're going to be very focused on increasing your money for some of you, others of you, deepening your connection with a partner. And there's going to be this recognition that somebody's got to show up in a more, I'm going to say pointed way, but more hardworking way. Let's say that, like in a way where somebody's got to show up in a way that they're putting more energy, right, and more juice into the connection. So that could have to do with a business partner, that could have to do with a family member, an intimate connection, whatever it is. Now, some of you also may be trying to balance out this idea that you may be dealing with somebody who, you know, is really kind of sort of solid, you know, really solid, right? We got this 10 of Pentacles energy, which is about, you know, maturity and a deepening of commitment, and somebody who's maybe has property, somebody has money, somebody who is into sharing and all of that. But some of you may be sitting there saying, yeah, but I feel like something's missing here. Some of you may, not all of you are going to resonate with it, where you're recognizing you may be with somebody who is rock-like material, right? Loyal, dependable, all of that. They look great on paper, all of that, but you feel like they're missing something, whether it's that they're boring for you or that they're, and I hate to say that sounds really harsh, but something's missing. Maybe you don't really, you're disappointed in their communication skills, having to do with romance, intimacy, anything like that. It really could be anything, but you're in this space where it's like, I have to balance this out. I'm really not sure if this is what I want for myself in the long term. And a lot of you may be in that space where it's like, I don't know if I'm going to feel secure with this energy where I feel like I'm getting what I need over the long term. And that could end up now for some of you, lead you to the Seven of Swords energy is a moon in Aquarius. So moon is emotions, Aquarius is out of the box, different. So this could be you not being completely honest about how you feel regarding a particular situation, not really disclosing how you feel, what's going on, having to do with finances, having to do with some sort of family decision, having to do with the idea of getting married, opening that business, buying that house, whatever it is. Because all of that is a 10 of coins energy. 10 of coins has to do with like, will you marry me? Let's get a house. Let's open a business. Let's create a family. Let's create a life. For those of you in that space, others of you, maybe somebody wants to go into business with you. They want to, they want to be that energy with you. But it's like there needs to be some sort of balancing out. And this idea of honesty is being questioned here. Now, because it's bookending the Justice energy, you're specifically asking yourself, right? First of all, do I feel challenged in this situation? Like it's a test. Am I being tested? Like, where's the camera kind of thing? Some of you may be in that space where you feel like, a challenging situation that you're going through, maybe in a career, having to do with finances, maybe family, some sort of situation that feels like a test. And I like that we got the Justice energy for you, because it does mean that things are going to end up going in your favor, even for a relationship. This is very much paying attention to making sure that your emotional needs are met, but through the lens of balance and fairness. Right? And so for some of you, you're recognizing that the vibe of something doesn't feel balanced and fair, but you might not be talking about it yet. You may be in this space of still kind of going with the flow and trying to figure out how you're actually going to handle feeling that sense of imbalance. Others of you, you might be dealing with an energy where you feel like they're selfish. You might be dealing with this very selfish energy, somebody who oversteps boundaries, somebody who doesn't think of you first. Now, when we have the Knight of Coins energy and the 10 of Coins, you might be feeling like somebody's not being 100% honest with you either as far as their feelings go, or having something to do with money. And this is where I say it's important to understand, and I'm just addressing 3 main qualities of Venus's shadow side. Number 1, she has a hard time dealing with people who don't measure up to her ideal. So if you feel like somebody that you're dealing with is not showing up enough, because her expectations for perfection and harmony are high. So having this energy in your third house is signing on the bottom line, having to do with the business negotiation, having to do with purchasing a property, anything like that. It also has to do with connections with family members, siblings especially, and extended family. This could also be anyone that you're communicating with, okay? And so there's going to be this focus there. And Venus with her expectations for perfection and everybody, things being harmonious, right, in the connection, there could be an energy of disappointment and disillusionment because what's going on fails to meet her ideals. And it's that very thing that can motivate your Venusian energy to do something that's going to ultimately make your life feel more fair, more balanced, and more beautiful. And that might be sitting down and having that conversation, right? I mean, because it's in the third house. What's the third house? Gemini is the landlord of the third house, which is all about communication. So some of you may feel very pushed to do that. Second, Venus doesn't like competition. So especially if those of you who are either dealing with feeling competitive within relationship or feeling some sort of like pushed to the edge in some sort of situation having to do with business, Venus doesn't like it here in the third house. So this can show up feeling... Venus can show up feeling very rivalrous and very envious towards anybody who maybe is better off, right? So if somebody is better off, if you feel like somebody else is getting the better end of a deal in that relationship, having to do with money, having to do with that family situation, having to do with, this could even be envious of somebody's like physical beauty, right? Because it has to do with Venus, but any area really. So just, be mindful of the fact. Now, again, you can be feeling this But everyone has this energy in them. Not everybody in the same house, in the same way. But if you're not experiencing this, be mindful of it in other people, because the energy of seduction, deceit, and any other strategy to secure something that either you or another person has your eye, or they have their eye aimed at possessing, all of that kind of energy can be playing out right now. Because when Venus is running in her shadow self, she can be very messy. She really can. She could just be like, bitch, get out of my way kind of thing. And, so something to be mindful of. And finally, Venus really likes to serve as a tempering for imbalance, which is awesome, but can be sacrificial to a certain point, which can be painful. And it's in this mode, if this is how it can show up, she believes a certain amount of suffering, strife, and challenge is needed in order to bring us into better harmony and balance if we've swung too far in a direction that's not good for our ultimate good. Right, so how this can show up. If you're in something that you're really not supposed to be in for your highest good, that relationship, that job situation, that friendship, dealing with that messy family member, whatever it is, and you are feeling like, whoa, something, I don't know, like I can't pull myself away from this, but I know it's not right. Mars hanging out in there with her is going to try to pull you back in the other direction, because Mars is very concerned about us being on our right path. And that's why they're ideal partners, because they balance each other out. So there's going to be a very critical lens, focused on something having to do with that third house energy. Again, siblings, extended family, all modes of communication, learning something as well. It's early learning. It's the way it could even be like a webinar, any sort of like program that you're just starting, not higher education really. That's more Sagittarius, 9th house. But anything like that, something going on in your neighborhood with your neighbors, okay, anything like that. There's got to be this balancing out there, right? So these are different ways that it can end up showing up. And I do feel like this is going to be going on for you, having to do with this balancing out of something that you're looking kind of closely at, either how well you're connected to somebody or how giving somebody is, the giving and the receiving of a particular situation. And you're just very focused on looking at the truth here with the Queen of Swords, But it's more like you're trying to figure somebody out. You're sitting back and you're trying to figure out, like, what are they doing? What do they want, right? Like the psychological motivations of somebody. But more specifically, we have that clarified by the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And this is you figuring out why somebody's not putting more work into something. Why is somebody giving up so soon on something? It's almost an element of laziness, right? Because the 7 of Coins in the upright is like, come on, let's work, let's be patient, right? Success, let's just keep going at it. It's like, no. But trying to figure out, but you might even be in that space, Cancer, where you're like, why don't I feel more like energized to kind of continue in this thing? And really trying to figure yourself out. And that's being clarified by the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. Okay. All right, this is going to go for some of you. Some of you some of you are figuring out that a relationship is just not right for you, and you're not realizing until the idea of something or someone else coming in to highlight your sense of lack in a situation. So this could manifest as, let's say you're in a relationship and you know things are not going very well, and then you meet somebody. Because you could be meeting somebody with Scorpio in the 5th. Scorpio rules sex, right? Endings and beginnings. And it's sitting opposite Uranus and Taurus in that 11th house of hopes, wishes, in the future. So something surprising can be coming in that area of romance for you. And the Knight of Cups is a proposal coming in. Just be careful. If this is that energy, you want to make sure, if the person seems like really perfect, you want to make sure that you're not getting too swept up in the idea of them. Now, I'm not saying that they're not great, but they can come in saying, no, we want the same thing. This is what I want. But you want it, like, if somebody seems too good to be true, just like step back and wait and make sure they're walking their talk. Again, not to say that they're not great, but I always get a vibe with the Knight of Cups of like somebody presenting a little bit of a false self initially. Sometimes it's just because of vulnerability initially, and then they drop it, and then you get to figure out who they are, but sometimes they don't drop it. So this is an energy where for some of you, for others of you, just as a general energy, you're in the space, you just want real, like REAL capitalized, real love. So, and what is that for you, right? Not somebody who just looks good on paper, not somebody who's just good looking, somebody of substance. And some of you who are in a relationship, you may be feeling like you're not with somebody of the type of substance that you're really looking for, right? Because for a lot of you, it's just about support, right? Just about support. But for those of you who are meeting somebody new, I have to tell you, I like it, because we have this 3 is an energy for new relations, great energy for new relationships, the number of creation, but it's also the energy for healing. So depending on where you are at in whatever situation you're in, having the conversation to really figure out why somebody's not putting in the energy that they really should be, and then figuring out, because the Knight of Cups energy is a proposal, it is an emotional time within an existing relationship. So it could be a friendship, a family situation, but it could be this sort of really healthy conversation for some of you. For others of you, where you feel very connected and supported. For others of you, it's a recognition that you're not getting what you want in whatever it is that you're in, and you going in a different direction. So this could even be, again, a job offer, a new relationship, anything like that. Now we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is staying very focused on your mind rather than your heart, taking charge of your circumstances. And I won't be surprised if you're feeling this, even though you're Cancer and you're water energy. The fact that you have this Mars and Venus in Virgo, there's a lot of air going on there, because Virgo's air, ruled by Mercury, and this is in the house, the 3rd house, which is Gemini, which is also ruled by Mercury. So there's a lot of air there, right? There's a lot of air. Venus also rules Libra, which is an air sign, rules Taurus as well, which is an earth sign, and Mars is fire. So there's a lot of energy that's going on here. There's certainly a lot of energy, it does seem like. And we have the Chariot clarifying that. So it's almost like you're being very realistic and practical about something, because the Chariot is about stepping away from the toxicity, whatever feels weird and not working. But it's quick. It's you using your mind, not letting your heart rule a situation. You saying, you know what? I need change. I want to get away from this thing that's not working. So this is a very quick, expedited energy. So for some of you, if this has to do with career or money, this is really good, because this is quick changes in progress in some sort of business situation moving forward. Bring something to fruition, launching something. It's like making this decision quick. I want to own my own business. I want to launch this thing. I want to move. I want to, fill in the blank. But it's like, boom, it hits you and you're like, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. And I feel like a lot of you are going to be experiencing that anyway, because with Scorpio in the 5th and Uranus and Taurus in the 11th, they're kind of they're frenemies with each other, these energies. So what is that going to look like without being too confusing? There's a lot of change going on for a lot of you in romance, love affairs, what you like to do because you like to do it, entrepreneurial efforts, the way you express yourself. But it's the change is coming in because of something, Uranus bringing in some sort of new people into your life, either new friends, new relationships. But it's like your hopes and your wishes for the future kind of going through a change right now. So a lot of you are just like meeting somebody new, getting that new offer, boom, boom, boom. And it's like, I want to do this. But you're going to be in a space where you're going to need to decide, right? Negotiate with yourself. You're going to need to make a decision and figure out, if you could think about the Pentacles as like one situation and another, you're trying to figure out what feels the best for me and where do I feel the most lack. And wherever you're feeling the most lack or getting the least satisfaction, that's the Pentacle you need to put down. So if you're trying to decide between should I stay in this or should I open my own business, where are you feeling like you're gravitating towards most? Do you know what I mean? And the fact, Cancer, that you have the South Node in Sagittarius right now in your 6th house, which rules your day-to-day work environment. where you work, who you work with and for. There's got to be a release here. Sagittarius in that South Node energy is saying it's time to sacrifice something here, time to release. If it doesn't have anything to do with that, this could have some sort of release having to do with your mental, physical, or emotional health. So if you're in something that is you feel like is damaging you in a particular way, you have to let that go. You have to let it go, because the gift is going to be peace of mind, because Gemini in the North Node in the 12th house, even though you're confused, even though it's going to feel scattered for you, the gift is going to be that you're going to feel more open to learning something and receiving life in a different way. You're not going to be limiting yourself so much, even though you're confused. It's okay. But there's this change going on in your 6th house. And I do want to say the 6th house is also pets. You know, so if any of you are experiencing any kind of issue with pets, all right, don't be surprised, because it's that 6th house energy right now. And then that's being clarified by the Page of Coins. Yeah, so some of you are going to be making the decision to get that new job, start that business. This is energy of, you know, whatever you bring to the table as far as like talent, your skill set, whatever it is, and it going really well. This is an energy of being able to progress and move forward and new beginnings. So the new beginning can happen in business, finance, an offer made on a property. Okay, either somebody making you an offer or you making somebody else an offer and it going well. This could also indicate meeting a new mental, physical, or emotional connection. But that connection is going to be very good for you, very auspicious. This energy is going to help you move forward in your life. But what I like about this too is very, there's a lot of energy to this. It's a very hardworking energy. Whatever it is, right? So a lot of hard work put into that relationship, that job, whatever it is, but there's being success there, right? Because this is the personification of Earth. So I like that. Let's see what we have. So we have rejection. Ooh, I feel like rejection is protection when it comes to something. Be of service. Be of service is a Virgo energy. Virgo is the be of service energy. Again, which is that 6th house. So you might be making just some changes to either improve your health, mental, physical, emotional, or your work environment. I know that sounds big, but that's all 6th house stuff. And we have thinker. Yeah, I mean, I really, even though you're a water sign, your mind is going to be going, it just really is. You're just thinking, you're very air this week when it comes to thinking about your security, because Libra's hanging out in your 4th house. Libra's an air energy, and you're really going to be balancing out. How good do you feel about what's going on? Because you feel the change. You definitely feel the change. Pluto in your 7th house has to do, Pluto's all about change, endings and beginnings, right? So that has to do with there's changes going on in your relationships, your marriage, anything having to do with business partners, contracts, anything having to do with sharing. You're even changing how you show up in relationship, because 7th house is also your interpersonal style, like how you show up in all of these things. Pluto's hanging out there, and Libra in your 4th house, you're like, okay, so now I'm going to actually step in front and be in charge of my life, right? And make some really decided choices about what the right thing for me is. And I feel like a lot of you are doing this in such a beautiful way. We have Aries. Aries is that leadership energy. Chiron is in Aries, retrograde until December 28th in your 10th house of not only career, but long-term goals. So you're looking long-term, and you're looking to do things differently so that you can heal something that you feel like needs to be healed in your life. So we have this idea of rejection. Let's pull clarifiers on these. Beautiful. This is the thing. Rejection is about pushing something, like, are there somebody pushing you away? So maybe you got fired, maybe somebody broke up with you, maybe you're going through something. But this is definitely a rejection is protection kind of thing. Because whatever was rejected needed to happen in order for this 8 of Wands to come in, which is Mercury in Sagittarius, one of my favorite minor arcanas, because this is good news coming in. Lots of busy communication. This is really great if you've been feeling held back or stuck, waiting on some sort of decision, waiting on that job, that you're going to get that house, waiting on that person, whatever. Now, some of you, if you are in a relationship and somebody broke up with you, this is good news coming in. If you guys have been separated, let me just pull one more on that. Temperance, yeah. There's somebody's calling you up to try to temper the situation and try to figure things out, trying to reconcile something. So like a patient kind of cooperation after a difficult time period. And we have the Bee of Service. Again, all that fourth house energy, like looking at the health of something. Is it the right thing for me to do? And you making the decision to detach from something that, or at least take a break from something that was feeling really toxic. This allows space to do some internal work here. But this is about moving away, being very realistic. And you're just trying to think. Obviously, but the thinker energy though is kind of like not doing anything big and profound, but you're thinking about how well are you going to be able to be successful within this new thing. 3 of coins is a strong energy. It's Mars in Capricorn. So this is like the warrior energy in the worker energy, right? So is everybody going to show up in a strong enough way to be able to collaborate, to make this relationship work, to make the marriage work, to make that family situation work out well, to work that business situation? But it's an energy that's very mindful of success, being very mindful of, am I going to be able to bring my best self forward? But this is a very successful energy. So for some of you, this is a successful launch of something, success buying a home, selling a home, success, but realizing like this is what you want in order to build something, which I like for you. Beautiful Emperor, right? I was getting that leadership vibe, right? As I mentioned, and that's the Emperor. The Emperor is Aries, ruled by Mars. And this is, first of all, getting very real, right? Getting very real. If you're single, you're meeting somebody new. If you're with somebody, this is talking about future plans in a practical matter. If this is to do with career or money, this is your finances getting organized and all of that. But you asking that big question, do I feel impassioned by what it is that I'm doing? Because if you're not, you're going to feel stifled and you're going to know you need to make the change. And you're not going to be able to not look at it. I like this energy for you, Cancer. I feel like it's very strong. I feel like this is a difficult week in that it's never comfortable needing to try to temper a situation, but I almost feel like, I do feel like you're going to have the strength and the wherewithal to balance something out that's going to ultimately serve you best in the long run. So, on that point, I will end it here. Thank you so much for joining me and have an awesome week. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.